Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. My name is Josh, and this is Composing Live, where we have an up close and personal look at how music is made. I like to think of this as a R&D lab, so to speak, where I get to showcase some stuff that I've been working on, as well as learning new things. And this episode is learning a new thing. Which I don't really do a lot of pop stuff. I have been paid and commissioned to do pop music for songwriters and stuff, but it's not something that I do a lot. And I have joined a thing called Taxi, if you guys are familiar. And Taxi is like a sync music agent, kind of, so to speak. It's like a company that I guess you connected with other publishers. And they had one called K-pop instrumentals, and I thought that was interesting because K-pop is such a big category anyways, and that can mean anything. That can mean hip-hop K-pop, or it can be more upbeat, dancey. They had some reference tracks that I could base it off of, and so the K-pop instrumental that we'll be working on today is a little bit more in the realm of, let's say, EDM, electronic music, and also maybe some hip-hop. So we're going to explore that today. Now, I did do a little bit of sketching earlier, and I'm not too happy with this little sketch that I've made. So what I'll probably do is start something fresh, but I thought I'd just show you what I was working on earlier, just while I was kind of getting some sounds together. So I think this is fun to at least get that going and see how far we went with that. This is kind of a electronic track, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, so that's it. As far as elements of the track, we have some good old kick. Let me solo that for you. And yeah, finding kicks are always hard for me. I always kind of like one, and then when I put it in context with the music, sometimes I second guess. But this one has a nice bright kick and a nice low end right around that 50-60 mark, and 50-60 hertz. That's really where you want that drum to be. I feel that's like the sweet spot for a lot of sound systems, and that is probably a kick I might use for this session as well. But anyways, you have that. You have some claps. Oh, sorry, I'm changing my my workflow a little bit, where I'm soloing over here rather than clicking on the track and having that selected track. So I might do that a lot today. I also have some snares. I really like this snare a lot. This is from it's called Poly, I believe, Polyplex from it's a Reactor percussion library. And then also this one here, this is from Battery. Anyways, that's the claps. With that, you have some hats on, at least on this big part here. And as you can hear, this is very almost like 90s and early 2000-esque style of music. But I've noticed that with Korean music, K-pop, I should say, K-pop music, they kind of do this thing where they take stuff from the U.S. and they kind of make it their own. And sometimes it's a little bit delayed. So like if there's some kind of music that's popular out in the U.S. or even Europe, they'll take those influences, but it's usually like delayed a few years, and then you'll hear that style kind of form out in Korea. But again, I'm basing the instrumentals off of the reference track and the brief that I was given. And, as far as that, those tracks were a little bit older too. So, I mean, K-pop's always changing, same with any pop music in any country. So, that's something I'm going to be exploring today is like the sounds that they gave me. One that was really prevalent in those reference tracks were these. It's kind of the slidey bass. Hey, Guy Shard and Sam, welcome on board. It's good to see you guys. I just saw your messages now. Anyways, what I really like about this one is it glides. So, that kind of sound is like Gangnam Style, and a lot of those reference tracks had that Gangnam Style feel from Psy. So that's something I'll be trying to use today, along with that kind of 4 on the floor electronic groove that we hear here. But I'm not really digging that bass line, so I'm going to start fresh. That's the idea. Let's see what other sounds I have real quick. I just want to showcase. This one's kind of quiet, but yeah. This is actually called the Happy Gaga Lead. It's from one of those Omnisphere stock sounds, but I really like it, and I think this would really be appropriate. There's also other leads that I found that might be fun to use, so let's just kind of experiment with that. And then I'm also thinking of what key we're going to be in. I'll probably do something in a major key, so it'll be a little more happy rather than this minor thing that I'm doing in this track here. Then coming up with a hook, and so that could be easily from this or from the bass line. I have a whistle. And then what other sounds here? I got this lead I mentioned, and then I have this one. And then doing some of these pitch bends will be useful. So I've noticed that a lot of the pitch bends in here are by default 2 semitones. So sometimes I like to extend that out so I can do like maybe an octave and do stuff like this. Make sure that I can arm it first. So. Like that. And just a little. And that kind of stuff I'm probably going to experiment with a lot today. Pitching up is interesting too. So maybe I'll extend that out. Maybe not all the way to an octave, but I'll do something like a fifth up, or seven semitones, or a fifth above. So I don't know. So those are some ideas. And then this is a softer one. And this one, I don't know, I can maybe do something like maybe like an arpeggio feel even. Let's see. I don't know, something like that. It depends on what we do. And then this is another one here. This is just a nice saw lead type of. Anyways, a lot of fun sounds that I was able to grab today. I also got some guitars up here. Maybe for like a different section of the piece, like a chorus, and this is more on the right side. Anyways, those are all ideas. And then the bass, let's look at bass real quick. These are just my stock bass sounds from a bass guitar. I might not use like a bass guitar, so to speak. We could, but that's just an option here. They're kind of soft also. I might want to just bring this up a bit and use like a compressor. Let's do that right now. Let's use this guy here. Yeah, it's just so quiet. Even that didn't really do it. Slamming it helps, but let's just bring this up with a little guy up here. Oh, that's a little better. Anyways, that's an idea. So, oh yeah, this one's much louder. Okay, so you have your bass guitars, and then synth basses down here. I should probably put the bass guitar and synth bass next to each other. It'll just be easier in this hierarchy here. So I have a bunch of basses. I'm struggling finding one I like though. This one was a Prospect. Has a nice low sub hit. And then the pitch bends I talked about. Anyways, these are all just kind of experimenting. So that's what we'll be doing today. Lots of different sounds. That we did the little glide. Yeah, so that's really fun to play. This one actually is a non-glide. It's the same sound, but I made it so it doesn't glide with the monophonic. And then I also added a little LFO. So depending on where I am at in the fader, I could do little things like that. That's a thought. I just gotta get precise and whatnot. So anyways, that's the thought too. So if we go hip hop today, I also have some 808s and bass sounds that are kind of like that. Let's see here. Actually, I think this would be better. So those are some nice 808 sounds. I really like these. Let's see here. A different sound. And just add that with a kick, just for fun. Let's do this one. Or something like this one. Where were we? Yeah. anyways. That's more like a hip hop feel. But going back to what we're going to be doing today, let's kind of take some of these ideas I had. Let's see if any thing sticks here. Okay. Anyways, I like the drums. I think I'll use some of those drums and get that going for something that we do today. But yeah, I thought it'd be fun to try something new. So here we go. I see Lila Foe's on board. Hey Lila, how you doing? And then Guy Shar just said, "고생 끝에 낙이 온다." 고생 끝에 낙이 온다. K-pop proverb. Thank you. 고생 is like worry. So worry till the end, something like that. Is what I'm getting there. Okay. Let's see what we have here. Let's take the drums and start there. By the way, if you're enjoying what you're seeing today, and just in general, and you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. You can do that on either YouTube, Twitch. I have other social medias, but that's where I'm most active. So yeah, with that being said, this is the drum part. Oh, okay. Well, let me actually copy and paste it in the right sections. So I had it right here, I believe. There you go. Okay, so now we can mute these guys and start with the drums, or just the kick. Again, I really like the kick of this. This is just a sample. Over here, you can see how is it? It's over here. Sampler control. So this is just a sample. It's just one wave file, and I use the LFO to give it a little variation, just 3 on that, so the pitch is slightly changing every time it hits. It's a good trick. So what we're gonna do there is come up with some kind of hook in either the bass line or other. Let's start with the bass, shall we? So the first idea was going with this glide sound. And what key shall we do? Let's go in the key of either, I was thinking D or even G. Okay, so that's one popular beat. Okay, let's press play and let's go ahead and just do a little vamp on that. Oh. There you go. All right, let's try again. I won't record it this time. Let's just look at that real quick, shall we? So over here, oh, I actually already have this on up and running, looks like. So let's look at that that exact glide that I have. And what I want to do is maybe change that glide so it's not as long. So before it was at 0.013 or 0.13 seconds. So let's maybe go to 0.09. Let's try that again. Let's go over there. So I want to keep it in major key. So I like that already. Let's try that. And you know, I'm going to put a little click on there too. 2, 3, and. Alright, I can do a better job. 2, 3, and. Okay, all right. So we're getting closer and closer. I'll do in two bars of that. Let's not loop it this time and record it for real. All right. Oh, hardship. Okay, guys, shard. Joy comes after hardship. Okay, I see. Yes. So hardship, yeah, that's the word. Kosing is hardship. Kosing mani hetta is what a lot of people will say in Korea. Kosing mani hetta means like, oh yeah, you've worked hard, or you've you know, I always kind of attribute to something like you've yeah, you worked hard, or you like kind of like you've worried yourself a lot in some context. Okay, good. So as we do this, let me just listen to the slides. So right there. Boom, boom. It's weird how it still glides from the same note. It's almost like it's still gliding from that lower note. And then the timing too can just be a little tighter. Oh, let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. I think that might work. So let's use this as sort of our hook. And I'm thinking because it's instrumental, it's hard to really imagine everything, but you're laying a foundation of someone else to sing over and also rap over, because K-pop is really popular, is kind of mixing those two genres together a lot of times. So you usually have like a rapper in the group, or you have a singer, and then they switch off. Sometimes it's one person that can do both. So yeah. Anyways, so that might work. Let's just kind of let's dress this up a bit and see what we can do. I'm thinking let's play around with the octaves first and see how that sounds. Okay, cool. So I mean that could work easily, very well in that regard. Okay, so it's hard to say which one I like more, but if we were to go lower and just treat it more like a proper bass line, um, it's busy. It's a busy bass line, so we got to be careful if that's gonna be what we kind of commit to as our hook. Um, if that's the case, um, we could maybe double that. Just give it just a bit more juice, so to speak. And I'm gonna just play around with doubling this. It's tricky when you double bass. You kind of have to mix it a bit so that one is carrying the bass and the other one's carrying other frequencies. You know, I mean, in some cases you do the octave. I already kind of pre-mixed this from the other beat that I did. Let's look at some other ones. That's interesting. I don't know if I like that. Let's try this one real quick. This one I might want to go around here. Okay, there's also something like this. Right, and so you can mix and match to reinforce that a line, give it a little more just roundedness to it. But you just have to know which ones will work if you do combine them and layer them like that. You know, of course, some of them just will be louder as they behave differently. Yeah, I'm not really liking that one. This is kind of like rock and roll. Let's see here. That's pretty cool, actually. Bada. I'm just thinking of someone rapping over that. Let's go a little bit slower. Cat's Eye. Your favorite K-pop band is Cat's Eye. I'm so out of the loop. I used to listen to a lot when I was younger, and then there's like a big 10-year gap, maybe 15-year gap, and then then I started listening again recently. But I'm so green when it comes to the new bands. So Cat's Eye, I'll have to check them out. I kind of like this little sound here, the sound combination. It's not. It's not something I heard in the reference tracks, but I just like that sound combination. It's cool. Let's play around one more with bringing this one up. Just seeing how this would play in that octave. So this one is in unison now. Okay, so I'm gonna do one thing. Oh, sorry. I'm just going over random stuff on my streaming OBS here, and I accidentally stopped my recording for a second. Okay, so over here, I'm gonna look at this because one thing I'm trying to get better at is a low end, and since I'm on headphones. I'm just kind of seeing the frequencies and seeing how that plays with everything else. So as you can hear, the bass is kind of hovering around that 100 hertz. The kick over here is hovering around that 50 hertz for the fundamentals, and combine that. That's nice. I mean, I think it works. I'm gonna try bringing that down an octave and just see how that all plays and fits as a puzzle. It's cool. I like that. Yeah. So I'm just torn between which octave I want to put it at, but I think I'll do that. Let's just kind of stew on that for a sec, and let's move on to another idea. So as that plays, should we do a little intro? Let's try that. Let's bring this over to the right. Okay, let's do a 4-bar intro here. And we're going to go boom, boom. And I'm going to do some keys or something like that. Do I have any keys? Okay. So this is some sounds I brought in. Yeah, I like this sound actually. I think that'll work. Let's try again. Oh, sorry. 2, 3, and. Okay, so there's enough variation there. Let's go ahead and put that into play. Okay, so there's that sound, which we'll have a nice light feel, more warm feel to this whole bass line that we just did, and then on top of that, I think I added some kind of marimba sound, but I'm not sure where I put that. Is it over here? I have some pads. Pads would be good too. I'm just trying to remember where I put a sound, and I remember it was called Mallet Man, but I don't see it here. Mallet Man. Okay, so let's go find that real quick. Mallet Man is under here. Mallet Man, look at that. So I have it. It's on track 6. And it would be here. Oh, okay, so this is it. I just didn't label it. So this one's called Mallet Man. Okay, so on this, okay, yeah. So I thought this was a fun sound. Something like that. So we're in the key of D major in this case. Something like that. And of course, when I did the quantize here, that sounded kind of weird. Anyways, that felt really off to me. And then I guess we start that when the drums kick in. Or, you know, if we can dress this beginning up a little more, let's just see if there's something I can do here that's not as more arpeggio-like, but more adding to this riff. Maybe we can just double up. There we go. So that, yeah, we can do that. What else? Okay, that's another idea. The higher you go, more interesting I feel. That's busy. Anyways, that is a sound I like. There is one more that I didn't actually introduce. This one. It's like a vibraphone, like a synthy vibraphone. I like that too. So there's a lot you can do here. This could also be like a bass line. Going back to that Malin Man, just another idea. Yeah, but then as soon as that bass actually kicks in, the actual bass kicks in, it's kind of weird. Okay, so the only thing I heard that actually would gel well with this is that idea. So let's try that. So that's kind of one way to layer and build. Now to arrange this, what if we got rid of that first part and this vibraphone and then add it back in when everything comes out? That might actually work better. Just gives it more richness here. Cool. All right, so off we go to the races. Now that we have a lot of this fun riff going here, it's really about just adding some grooves, maybe a pad as we progress through this little section. Let's go with the groove part though, and just see what we can start adding in. So of course, when the kick hits, you can have something helping the kick, but not necessarily driving like a backbeat with it. I think I'm going to save the claps for a little bit later. So first is you could do a hi-hat. It can be like a clicky sound. Let's see, which one do I have here? Yeah, something like this. Yeah, so this works well because the bass line is also hitting that rhythm. One. This is a very, very bright piece so far as we play through this. So let's also think about how we can warm this up a bit more. So let's try add this in. So there is that rhythm. It's pretty quiet in the mix, so you don't want it to really stick out too much. Although it is a little bit too quiet, I feel. It's hard to say. Yeah, just a little bit more. Not too much more. And some of these rhythms did not quantize correctly, so let's just fix that. Okay. Yeah, and I don't usually like to do a hard quantize, even in pop music, just to give it a more natural feel. All right, so there's that. There is some kind of hi-hat idea that I mentioned. So if I were to do straight on hi-hat, I mean, that works. And a lot of times you can do it on the offbeat. I might double this with a kick just for an idea. So that's one thing. Maybe we do that not now, but on the next part. So like, I feel like we can go twice as long on this actually, now that I'm hearing this. And as we do the second time, maybe we add that hi-hat idea where you just go something like that. So what do we do in the meantime? Let's see. So you can do that. This can get old after a while, but with the singing, maybe not. It's hard to say until you put other things in context. This is pretty repetitive, so maybe as we do this, we give it a variation too. So I'll repeat it, and then we'll go back and do a variation of that. I just want to finish this idea I have with a hi-hat. Too loud. All right, so we're fleshing that out. Now this is where the drums could come in. I mean, when I say drums, the backbeat. Okay, so yeah, so let's look at that, and then we'll come back to the this the bell type stuff that you hear above that. Okay, so claps, we can do snare. This is the snare that I like, right? So I might do both. Let's see. I do have this already made in the past. I like that. Okay, so that already has a nice uppity feel. Now let's go to this. Boop, 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 oh, boop, boop. So, oops, I did a bunch of weird quantized stuff. Let's. I just want to fix this because this is actually missing. Okay, so let's listen to that. Bum, bum, bum. So we could do a little thing here. Bum, 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 bum. Oh. There. Let's get rid of this guy so that doesn't jump as much. Okay, so there's one variation of there that's fine, but sometimes more notes makes it a little more annoying. So we got to be careful when you do that, like that kind of idea too. I feel like less is more. So yeah, so that was just a thought. Nah. Bum 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 bum. So add that back in. Bum bum. Bum 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 bum. So maybe we go. Bum bum bum. Yeah. Okay, so it's not as predictable. Maybe we do something like this. Let's hear that in context from the start. Yeah, so that this little variation thing, it does feel out of place to me. It was fun. It was a good thought, but maybe I do it every now and then, not so much. Right there. Okay, so let's get rid of this dun dun dun, the first half, and then over here, maybe we... Okay, so yeah, maybe we do that. We could also fill that little gap with something else. Let's look at the bass line. So when I have that gap, this invites the other instrument to maybe step up and do something else. So what if I hold this so it just gives... Yeah, that works. Boom, boom. So this sound, I wonder if it would sound better in here. I'll actually just copy that and go whoop. Invert that one. And yeah, so that one's muted. And then, so this is the same instrument. I mentioned before that I have this LFO that it has it attached. I can show you right over here. This glider bass. Oh yeah, so over here it has a LFO. I should probably make sure it's on both of these. Oh yeah, actually no, this controls on a global. So if I do this, yeah, as you can see, this is moving the rate. And right now, the higher I go, the faster generally it will play. And then I have to make sure the depth is also all the way up, or as much as it sounds good. But anyways, so in this case, you know, something like a triplet eighth note would be cool. So it's way up there. As you can see, I gotta move that up. There you go. That's a eighth triplet right there. Okay, so going back to this idea, I gotta move that to there somewhere. Okay, and then make sure that the depth, which is this key, is up as well. Okay, that's my 21 vibrato. Interesting. I'm not really thinking that did anything. That doesn't sound like a eighth note triplet to me. Oh, I need to go higher. So let's go negative, or not negative, but let's go 9. Oh. Maybe 11. So 10. That doesn't seem right. There you go. 8. Keep going down. Yeah, that's interesting. To me, that sounds off. Doesn't sound right to me. So if I'm on that note, why is it going that? There, that's what I want. So for some reason that isn't going where it should go. So I need to go lower, I guess. Oh, there we go. Okay. That's what I wanted. Now, in theory, that was a fun idea. In practice, that kind of sounds weird. Okay. The reason why it sounds funny is because this is being muted. So let's unmute that. Okay, and yeah, that's a little bit better. If I were to do one other idea, let's maybe emulate that feel that I just did in the LFO with this mod wheel here. And I'm going to go sine wave it this time. Although my sine wave is, I need to put it on grid mode first. That's why. There you go. So this is kind of like that same idea. This might be too much, but let's just see how it goes. Yeah, and that didn't really do anything per se. Do I maybe do it more in the volume just to kind of give it that feel? Okay, that didn't do anything. Maybe I do it in this volume, which is pretty low key. Okay, there we go. So this kind of gives that wobbly feel, which it's different enough to make it sound refreshing in the grand scheme here. So let's hear that with that, and then let's bring up this volume. Let's make sure it just goes back to its normal volume, which in this case is pretty low. It's at 20, so let's bring it up to 20. Okay, let's hear that sounds. That's kind of fun. Yeah, something to explore. Maybe we can do more of that in that same event even, but let's keep it simple for now. So we have this. We'll do that. That little gap we gave ourselves is going to be repeated on the next section. So we have that. We have the claps. And the snare. Good. All right, so I'm just gonna do one thing, and then we'll move on. That clap over here, it has a compressor on it already, but I'm gonna just bring some of the highs down. We could also add some reverb on there. Why not? So let's go just the drums. Okay, good. Let's listen to the kick as well, but see if that's also needing some EQ. I think it could use a little bit of cut there. Okay, cool. So just imagine anyone that would be singing over this or rapping over that. It'd be, I mean, it could be a female, it could be a guy. All of that does influence the way the track should sound too, in a sense. But I think that's long enough to get this to a new section. So let's add a new section to that. And before I forget, I'm actually going to just add one thing to lead into this, and then I'll go to the new section. Actually, I actually wanted to add like a whoosh sound to this first intro. All right. gonna have to do a pass at this here. Second pass. Let's bring this down. Okay, that's a little better. Okay, and also same thing. Let's just EQ that a bit. Okay. And then as I'm listening to this, I think I can just simplify that bass line on the second or this part right here on this measure. So boom 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 boom. Boom 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 boom. Boom 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 boom. That's hard. Boom boom. Boom boom boom. Yeah. Okay. So we'll do that on this half as well. Just take out that note. Anything to these little small details, anything to just keep it fresh so that it doesn't get stale as you're playing through this. Boom, 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 boom. All right, moving on. So a new section. This is a verse, let's say. So let's add this section and name them as we go. So I'll just say verse. And I'm going to use these big bars to differentiate sections. So you have verse, intro verse, and then here, wherever it ends, let's just say it ends here. This will be the bridge or some kind of pre-chorus. Let's say pre-chorus. Okay. So, let's look at something that we can add, like something. We have to change the feel, right? So as we change the feel, do we lessen the intensity is the idea. So yeah, I would say we lessen the intensity here. So with that, we can add something like this. As an idea, we can even add something like this. Or yeah, so all of those would probably work. We also have some pads, and so we haven't really explored that too much. A lot of vibrato in this. Okay, so let's come up with some ideas here. the G. So as we do this, let's look at chords as well. So we're in the key of D. We start in D major. Bum 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 bum, and it's doing what is that? It's kind of doing something like that, right? We're playing on D. We do have sort of like a E minor chord, or even like a, I would say like a G6 chord. So we have yeah, I feel like it's kind of like a G6 chord there. So let's just say that G6. Okay, so right there. Bum, bum. So let's just do that. We can look at the bass line too, of course. Let's just look at this in its entirety. So we have okay, interesting. So you do have like a hitting at the very end there. So you could argue there's like an A chord there passing through. So yeah. Okay, so that's what we're doing in this first verse area. Let's add that over here too. One more. Okay, so a lot of this riff going. As we do that riff, there's also something I just heard. I'm just gonna make this a little longer. Oh shoot. There you go. I'm gonna make this note a little longer because it sounded a little weird. Bomb. Bomb. What if I did a pitch bend there, just as an idea? Well, let's record it in. Yeah, that might work. Okay, so let's add that pitch bend in the other bass as well. It's really subtle. I like it though. So we could basically do that same thing here. Okay, so let's copy that over. All right, now going to this pre-chorus, because there's a lot of D, we're holding on the D chord a lot. It might be good to change up the chord, right? So let's say G, and as we do this G chord, let's see how that moves in succession. So I'm gonna go with what I was doing before. So that's loud. there's one chord here I want to change. Oh, I see. Boom, boom. Let's see. Let's try some pitch bending here just for fun. Okay, so maybe not all of the chords, but I do like it right here. Okay, and as I did that one, I just need to get off of it right about there. See if that works. Okay. Let's see how that all plays through again. Cool. And those pitch bends can be slightly loud. So to combat that, since this is attached to the volume on this CC7 fader that I have, I'll just draw that in too. Something like that. I didn't time it right, but I can just program that in a little better. Yeah. So that one could also probably go here where the pitch bend is, and we're just kind of manually compressing it. Because it does pop out a little too much, I feel, at times when you do that. So maybe I just do that. So yeah, that's the idea. So let's bring that to 34. All right. I like this pad because it's bright. And sometimes you need something more bright than you want out of context with the singing. So I don't know. That's my experiences. Let's what am I trying to do? Actually, this is as long as the bridge should be, in my opinion. So let's just keep it there. The pre-chorus is going to be 8 measures long instead of 16 measures long. And what we'll do then is add some like a, the riser effect here. So we'll do some drums, maybe anything else in the tonal area though. Let's see here. Messing. Let's go and add the chords. So I also know what my progression is. It's G, D, and then it goes to A, and then it goes to B minor. Let's see. Let's just do it in its root chords here. G, D, A. Okay, so you have that. Moving on. This mallet thing is interesting. I'm just seeing if there's any way I can incorporate that. Okay. I'm not sure if I can do anything there with that instrument yet. It did sound like I could do something here and just sort of layer something in that realm, but I'm over that for now. So let's just see with these other sounds. Oh, hello. Let's try this one. Oh wow. Okay, so I actually just was messing, but I like this idea here. We can explore that. There you go. Yeah, I kind of like how it dies down just a little bit there. The velocity almost gives it a cutoff filter in itself. So the higher you hit it, the brighter it sounds. So yeah, it kind of works out with this. You don't have to do too much programming. Yeah, right there. Maybe bring that down just a bit. Okay, cool. So there's that idea. Now, if I were to copy that and maybe reinforce it with that mallet man here and bring it up. That's pretty good there. Okay, let's see. All right, let's add this now. Okay, that's one idea. Right. Yeah, so maybe the first time we don't do it, second time it adds in. Okay, all right, and that's when the drums will probably kick in anyway, so that would sort of hide behind the drums. Okay. I like it how it just naturally decays. It makes building this riser a bit easier as we add the drums. Okay, so we have all of this. We have, let's see what else we could do. I want to hear what the saw would give the feel for. I'm thinking that might work. Bum 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 bum. Oh, sorry. I gotta re-quantize this. Okay. All right. So, tonally, that might be enough. We could add like a guitar thing as an idea. Here's a. So we're in a key of D major, but in this we're in the chord of G. Something like that might help. I just noticed that my playing wasn't the best, so when I quantized this, it got a little bit wonky there. Bum bum bum. Let's see. Bum. Yeah, even this part. Bum 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 bum. Oh, look at this. Bum 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 bum. Oh, that's kind of a happy mistake actually right there. Bum ba-dum. Bum 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 ba-dum. What if I did that same idea? Bum bum ba-dum. Interesting. Bum, bum, ba-dum. Bum, 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 ba-dum. Bum, bum, ba-dum. Yeah. Okay. Let's keep that. So that was messing me up. I gotta go back here now and now do my guitar line. There you go. Let's add that in. Cool. Volume wise, maybe just bring that down. So, all right, I think we're ready to add drums, and there's no bass here for on purpose. So as we add the drums, then the bass drops, and then we do the big chorus. That's the idea. So let's go to let's do the claps. And then just a typical okay. Let's do this too. We're gonna bring the volume down just slightly. And then we gotta stop probably on here on this beat. Just because that little record scratch, record scratch, I would say. And that's one idea. Okay, so let's look at the snare. On the snare part, I might actually do something different. So when the second half comes back in, let's go something like this. Okay. Dun dun dun. Maybe we go bum 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 bum. And then bada something in that realm. Chat 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 chat, or yeah, chat 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 chat. Cha 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 cha. Cha 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 cha. Okay, and then we'll we'll do a little. Oh, does this control volume? I don't think it does. Now the sounds kind of quiet, actually, now that I put these other things in. So maybe we bring it up as an effect. So okay, yeah, maybe we do that instead. Okay, so there's that. There's the riser kind of sound that we need to add. So I already have something here. Okay, so this is not as loud as it should be, but we also have to figure out where it'll end. Maybe just a little bit longer. 2, 3, 4. Boom. Okay, let's see. What if I dropped out? Okay, let's do that. Okay, so we have our riser effect. I think when we hit this last note, we should have like a clap sound that's really reverberating. Let's see, psh, something like that. Let's do this. Let's just find a nice clap somewhere. I'm just gonna write clap. Oh, okay, something like that. Something like that. It has a lot of nice reverb. That might be it right there. I'm just gonna look around. Okay, that one's pretty cool too. So this one actually could work really well. So let's add that right here, and we're going to add it on count 4. Make sure that it's in the right routing. So we'll add it in perc. We can even add a little more reverb, perhaps like that, or even some delay. I'm just going to add it into my template here. And let's hear how that sounds. It's going to be loud. Or maybe not. There you go. Okay. Cool. So maybe we don't need so much delay, but let's go and get rid of that much. Interesting. Yeah. Huh. I like that clap, but there's this extra clap that's baked in there. And it's kind of weird. If it was just ringing, that would work. But that's the idea. So let's see what I have here. I mean, we could just grab a nice strong clap and then add, process it our own way. It's not that hard. I'm curious if I would find the same name of this. This is called MHH3. So I'm assuming it's that one right here. Whoops. But just processing this to sound like this. So what if we did that? Let's go. And then we're going to just make our own. Just do a quick wet reverb. Somewhere around here. It does sound a bit different, huh? Let's see here. So this is a bit higher or lower pitch than the other one. Maybe one more. Yeah. So that one doesn't have as much bite as this one, does it? So that has like a bit more distortion or overdrive. So let's add that in as well. Let's just do, this is like an easy one that I usually go to. I just find one of these that's super compressed. Give it some saturation. It already has that. And it's wet. Okay, let's try it. Okay. So that's one way to give it more beef. Compared it to this one though. Cool. Yeah. So the tail could be a little shorter, I think, and I think we got it. So there you go. There's that little riser effect. Now going back to this pre-chorus, is there anything else that we can add? Okay, so this clap can just be a little bit more aggressive, or we layer some claps with that, I feel. So do I have any other claps? Okay, so let's find that sound, which is right here. Oh, okay, it's the same, which is good. Okay, and then I'm going to bring this down in volume a bit. It's a bit brighter. More present. Let's listen to this saw. So I feel like this saw is nice. It could use a bit more reverb. That's nice. Boop, 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 boop. Anything else? Anything else? try again. What about shakers? Let's see if I have anything in the shakers. And maybe on this one we just use a wave file. Tambourine. Tambourine if it's 16th notes would be nice, like a loop. Okay, so there's one. If I were to just add this in and time stretch that, how would that sound? This is a mono track. Okay, so let's put it in musical mode. And let's bring some of those highs down. Let's add some reverb to that. Okay, I think a shaker adds a nice little touch there. Okay. Just a little automation there. Okay. Moving on, I think. Let's see. There was one track that I added early on here. Let's hear this. So this part here, dun dun dun. That's interesting. Yeah, let's put that on 4. Okay, and then this stuff needs to go. Okay. Boo, 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 boo. All right. We could use a little crash cymbal in the start of this pre-chorus, is my thoughts. So let's try finding a nice crash. I like just finding stuff off of. Oops, I wrote shaker. I meant crash. Yeah, off of the sample stuff that Cubase offers. They have a lot of different sounds you can find just right away, which is nice. Kind of quiet. I'll bring it up a little bit. Yeah, these are all labeled funny too. Let's go over here again. Cancel. this is more of a techno beat anyway, so this could work really well with a bit of a delay touch to it. Let's just make sure we add that. Okay, let's hear that in context. I'll add a little bit more about there. Okay. Alright, so I'm not sure if that's the best crash already, but let's balance it first. Okay, let's try a different crash. It's a little bit lower pitch. Is it though? Maybe not. Let's listen to this one again. Interesting. Oh, interesting. Man, they're both really bright. Let's try this one. Okay, so we might just need to add more delayed effect to this one. I think there's a ping pong delay with this. Boom. But let's go quarter notes on this one. Maybe just quarter notes in general. There you go. Okay. Okay, let's add a little more feedback on there. Yeah, okay, here we go. This could be just a bit louder. Cool. Okay, all right. Moving on. Let's add the chorus section now. And I think after this, we'll call it good. But yeah, creating an instrumental from scratch without lyrics and stuff, it's easier in some ways and harder in other ways. It's easier in the sense that I don't have to, make a beat that's has already like a lyric or some kind of melody that's already there. So in some ways, it's more creative. You can do. You can go pretty crazy with what you want to do with the instrumental part, but it's also harder because of that, because there's not a lot of like parameters that you're going with, and so sometimes when you go too crazy, it loses its appeal in trying to sing over it. So yeah, it's a tricky balance when you're doing instrumentals. Sometimes I like writing instrumental when there's already a melody, but in this case it's not. So I'm kind of like I'm just hearing stuff in my head and trying it out. So let's try the chorus now. Before we do that though, I'm gonna go ahead and just play it from the beginning, and hopefully that'll spur some ideas as we play through this. So the first idea is, what would it sound like to do this beat over, oops, again, and just see if that's enough, or should we just go with something way different? I'm leaning more on the way different, just because then it's more fun. But yeah, so let's see here. Let's just test this idea out. Let's add these guys back in. So that to me doesn't sound like a chorus, so that was worth a shot. All right, so let's get rid of that. But maybe the beat can stay there. Okay, so are we going to keep this 4 on the floor beat, or should we mess with that even more and go something like boom, 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 boom? Something like that is an idea. Still gives it some feel. To me, the 4 on the floor is like, you know, the go-to. But I like changing it up just to see if that would work. Maybe that would work more on a bridge section. Like where, yeah, things just change up for a moment and you just do something a little bit different with the beat. In this case, I think 4 on the floor is better. So let's do that, and then let's go here and get some kind of hi-hat sound. What other hi-hats do I have here? Okay, so let's do something like that. Okay, that wasn't the best recording, but that's the feel that we were going for. Let's do that one more time. Oh, oops. Okay, so there's that. Now, where did that go? Oh, that's way up here. There you go. Okay. That works. Okay, so this chat chat. Let's go chat chat chat. Okay. Okay, so that works pretty well. Let's add claps to that as well. So this what do you call drum library is doing two purposes here. It's doing claps and hi-hat. Okay. We're just gonna layer these guys a little softer. Okay, so that gives it that feel already. Now this is the chorus, right? So it's got to be at least this long, if not twice as long. So here or here. I'm gonna say that for now. Okay. All right. So now, what kind of bass groove are we gonna add? So we can go use these guys again. And if we were to go that route, it's tricky because layering these two have different fader volumes and stuff. I think. Let me just double check. Yeah. So one has considerably more than the other. So I can't really mess with that. I'm just gonna play. Let's just kind of play some ideas. It got loud, so weird. Okay, so this bass is a very distinct sound. It has a lot of bite, which I like. I'm gonna just mess around here with some other sounds, just to see what kind of what feel does it give off. Okay, so that's that bass that I thought would work in some context, but this one's a little bit. I like this line that I'm playing, but I'm just wondering what's the best bass line for bass instrument to play that line. this one. And we can maybe simplify that. So maybe don't go. We could do that. That's like a more EDM thing. Playing that under a vocal would be nice. I'm gonna try this one again. So that's nice too. So again, going back to this layered thing I have. The only thing I don't like about that is it doesn't have that fat warmth that this one has. So maybe we layer these together. But when I do that, well, let's just record this one first and then layer that one quieter, the one above it. All right. Before I do that, is this the beat I want to do? I can also do this. And not make it as pulsy. That might just give it a lot of power in a sense. All right. All right, let's try again. Yeah, so this module does something. I'm just trying to get that sweet spot. Right there. Oh, I just realized that the clapping is different than this rhythm. So maybe I should match that. Bump, bump, bump. Bump, bump, bump. Let's see. Okay. Same thing with probably this beat here. light quantize here on eighth notes. Huh. All right, so almost there. Okay, so let's go ahead and add that layer I mentioned to see if this gives it a little bit more bite. I should mention there's also a compressor that I've put on the bass group or bus. So this is also going on but behind the scenes. I should just adjust that for this. So that the kick comes through a little more. So side chain to the kick. So I was doing there. Okay, so this is nice. I feel like still a bit bright. Oh, yeah. So maybe this needs to go down too. It's adding a lot when you're layering both of those together. This one just gives it that warmth, and then the other one just gives it a bite. But this one is just a bit too bright. Hey Cheyenne, how's it going, man? Thanks for coming by. So yeah, we're working on this chorus right now. We have this this bass line going, and then now that we have that leveled to some degree, let's add some other things. So we're gonna add some kind of mid-tone or high-tone frequency here, and a riff that would complement this. Oh, thanks, Cheyenne. Yeah, things are well. Things have been busy. Yeah. I know you've been writing for sync stuff. How's that going? All right, so we're going to be going over maybe this line. How about we do a saw and see how that goes. So the chord here, it could be a B minor, or we can hit it as a G. But it almost feels like it should be a B minor. go to the feel. Can we change that up to maybe have it differentiate between the last one? I don't know. Let's see. Let's go back here. Yeah. Let's see. It could work if we just keep that going, huh? So maybe we just keep it with the two note scheme. Oops. Okay, so maybe we extend out that that chorus just a little longer. All right, so the timing could be slightly better on some of these. I'll quantize that. I'll just do a little tag here. So instead of going cha-cha-cha here, we'll maybe add that one bar after. Even a bar after that, so go like this. Okay, and then boom, 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 boom. So hold that out. Something like that. Okay, I'm not sure what happened there with this. Oh, okay. This one quantized weird. Bum bum bum. Is that right? Bum 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 bum. This one's a little off. Yeah, I like that little mistake there where it went da-dun. That's kind of fun. Although this one's not tight enough. Okay, so we have that. Okay, so there's another element here. This shouldn't stand out too much. Again, this is for instrumental that's designed to be under vocals. So depending on what the singing is, it's almost nice to just create your own melody and sing over that in a sense. But that's the idea. So we just have to keep that in mind. Make sure it's not too overpowering there. But that's a nice feel. Let's put the chords in. So this is a B minor, G, A, no, D, and then A. Pretty popular chord progression actually, but the voicing changes throughout that little area, and then as we do that, let's add some other sounds. Another layer. Whistle is interesting. There's some whistle in that soda pop from K-pop Demon Hunters. So I was like, yeah, a whistle. Let's see how that sounds. I'm not sure if it works in this regard. You can make it work, but let's try some other stuff. Okay, so this one's let me change one thing. So this one I think needs to bend a bit more. Let's go maybe maybe an octave. Okay. Let's try again. Let's listen to that. Okay. I kind of like this pitch bend better. Yeah. So let's keep that. All right, and then we'll repeat it again. quantize, sometimes it does weird things. Bum, 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 bum. Right? There you go. Okay. That's another layer. The guitar, I'm not sure if we can, or we should keep it going. I mean, you could, like, if we were to double that and change out the notes, something like this. I mean, we can make it work and just see how it sounds. Okay. Maybe a little vibrato there, maybe. Right there. I see. Okay, that could work. So let's do something like that and push that through to the other side. And let's put the volume a little lower. Okay, and that lead that I did but just before the guitar, let's pan that to the left now since the guitar is on the right. Oh, thank you, Cheyenne. Let me just check my mic volume here. I'll put that up just a bit more. Let me know if that's better. It's also because everything here is so loud. I'll bring my volume in the music down just a bit. I just realized I've been boosting it up quite a bit more than I should be. All right, and as I do that, I actually boosted it up so that I could hear it, but also you could hear it. I'm going to put a limiter in this session as well. Bring it up just a bit. Okay, so the problem here is I put the lead channel actually is hosting both of these two tracks together. Thanks Sean. So what I need to do then is I'll go ahead and put this back to center, but for this Happy Gaga lead, I might have to see if this will work. Maybe I can pan it to the left manually in the MIDI. I guess not. That doesn't do anything. So I gotta go back in my Vienna Ensemble Pro and just do it manually. That's easy. Just go right here and bring that hard left. There you go. Now this might be more of an EDM track now, but it's working in a certain way. I'm thinking about the singing. You know, like this could be a more uplifting message here for the song, and everything leading up to it before that is more rapping. So, like in other words, this is more singing here, whereas the verse and pre-chorus is more kind of like a hip-hoppy, rappy type singing. So that is that's the idea there. Now we can keep building and building, but let's see what time we have. It's 10:30. It's getting a little bit late. What I do is I want to just wrap this up and see if there's anything else I can add here that would just really elevate this, and one more element, and call it good. I guess the last thing is the pad. We should add something besides like the pokey, plucky stuff, and add something that just is painting more on the background. So I do have 2 or 3 pads here, and let's just see how all of this fits together. Let's see. Could use the same pad that I have here. Now that I listened to it, it's pretty bright, so I'm just gonna bring that down a little bit. It's not much. Maybe I'll add a bit of high pass filter here. Okay. Anyways, let's just keep that going then. All right. Pretty easy chord progression. Very, very catchy. I'm thinking also here there could be a hook of some kind that will help this along, and I'm trying to figure out what kind of hook would help. I think that glidey bass lead might help. When I say bass lead, I'll show you in a second. Okay, let's try again. Let's add a little bend. Okay. Now let's fix some of the chords that I just added that were wrong. Okay. Let's quantize. So this part here is also important that we sidechain. So this synth pad, I'm going to add a sidechain enable, and let's go to the kick. Okay, and then on this one here, this is the group bus. We're going to add a side chain to that pad. All right, and let's press play. Pump there. About 4 or 5 dBs of a pump. Let's try that. Let's bring this back up just to, or push it forward a little bit and cut this off a little sooner. Okay, almost there. So I just added this on a whim, really easy. Do that. Okay, so the hook. A hook would be something like a whistle, something unique. It could be this glide lead that I was talking about. Something like that. Ah, man, it's interesting. I mean, that could work. That's an idea. Wrong note. Either that or A. Okay, let's see if A works on that. Interesting. Boo, boo, boo. Yeah, there's something weird about that last note. Boo, woo, woo. Oh, I see. It could be that glide. The glide really adds a lot in that. Huh. Ooh, wom bum bum bum. Yeah. Oh. So, what do I do here? Because it sounds kind of weird there, doesn't it? It's like that glide is coming off. So that last note just sounds weird. Yeah, I don't know. So the only way to combat that is you almost have to bring the glide back up to change that feel. And that kind of sucks actually, because then I can't do anything different there. Yeah, that's hard. What if I went? What if I went up and then down? That might be a good what do you call compromise? So go down so that glide still kicks in. Okay, so let's do that. Gotta love that sound. Okay, and then that might fix what we have here. So all of these sounds almost need to be delayed just a bit. Is it? Oh, man. Or is it the opposite? Okay. Yeah, so there's a lot going on now with this course. I'm not sold on that lead, but it does give that feel. I mean, it does give like a more of a character to this song. It's just not driving in the groove as much. Boo. Boo doo boo boo. Okay. All right. I think that's all for today. So let's go ahead and play through the entire track. Wow. This is going to be interesting. So yeah, I was thinking rap in the verse and then more singing towards the chorus. And with that, this is my first attempt on something like this, K-pop instrumental, but again, the K-pop genre is pretty wide, and saying K-pop as a genre is a vague thing. So this one is more like an electronic, dancey, upbeat, synthy type of a K-pop track. And let's see how it goes. I'm gonna go ahead and just do one thing before we start playing, which is take all of these elements, or events in this case, and I like to push it all out here so that it's just easier to view when I like doing the key editor. It's just, for me, it's more easy to navigate through back and forth once you have it all glued together. That's just the way I like it. Let's see here. So let's get all these guys in here. Same with this. Yeah, that was a nice journey into this type of music. Hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something with me. As far as our next streams, I might actually do another one of this in the next week, just to kind of reinforce what I'm doing. I'd like to practice more and get better at this genre anyways. It's just nice to have that under your belt. So let's go ahead and press play. This is my K-pop instrumental. Well, that was really fun, guys. Thanks for joining in, and I hope to see you guys in the future. Like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you next time. Take care.